Hey guys, thanks for listening to the Spiritual Grind. We hope you enjoy it, and don't forget to follow, hit the little bell for your notifications when the podcast is posted, and follow, and share with your friends. We hope you enjoy it. Leave a comment if there's any topics that you want us to speak about.
Like, follow, share.
Thank you very much, Dr. Jenny. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the podcast.
Good morning.
We're back in the studio today, recording another podcast for this great audience that we have.
Where's the applause?
Oh, yeah. I didn't see the applause. Back in studio. So today I have a pretty interesting topic, and I think it's very important because sometimes in my journey, I struggle with identifying the difference between these two things.
Okay.
And that is contrast and controversy, the difference between the two of them.
Is there a difference?
Yeah, that's I don't know. That's where I struggle a little bit sometimes, is identifying what is contrast that helps me establish boundaries and life things, and then controversy that is sometimes guided by beliefs and experiences that we've either A, signed up for, or B, where it's reflecting something back to us. So that's where my time was in thought this morning. The difference between contrast and controversy. How do I identify the difference?
Well, I go back to the initial question of what is your definition of each, and is there an actual difference?
Well, there is in my definitions, because contrast for me is a way to identify what I don't want.
Okay.
And it helps me set parameters for different beliefs and lives and how I want to interact with people. And then I would define controversy more of humanly brought in for either A, an experience, or B, for some belief that I have that is reflecting back to me something either A, I need to look at myself about, or B, it's something that I've brought into my reality to create something else. So it's really, to me, it's two different definitions, but I don't know if that's right or not.
Well, I can only give you my opinion.
Okay.
And contrast is the concept of knowing the difference between two different things.
Okay.
And most have a definition that contrast is good or bad. Contrast is good either way because contrast brings about growth and evolution.
Okay.
Because it helps you get clearer about what you do like and what you don't like so that you can create more of what you do like.
Okay.
So it's not a bad thing.
Right. I don't identify contrast as a bad thing.
Right. I'm not saying that you do. The controversy is the actual experience brought on by the contrast.
That's me tapping my chin.
So when you're given the ability to witness contrast, which is just another word for differences.
Okay.
I'll give you a very simple example.
Okay.
When you go to a burger joint, the contrast would be, how do I like my burger? So if you've had the burger with, say, mustard and lettuce, and you like that, and then you try a burger with cheese and mayonnaise, and you decide, that's contrast.
Okay.
The controversy then would be, do I like it that way or do I not? And do I want more of it?
See, I would identify the controversy of how did I end up with the mayonnaise and cheeseburger, And you say burger so clearly, by the way. I say more booger than I do anything. I just was listening to you say burger. You pronunciated it so well. Burger.
Okay. Okay.
But I would identify the controversy in it as if I ordered a burger with mayonnaise or with mustard and lettuce, how did I end up with a burger that had mayonnaise and cheese on it? That would be the controversy in my head.
Okay, so okay, so let's clear up that controversy. You had a burger with mustard and lettuce.
Okay.
You go to the burger joint and you decide that you want to try something new.
Okay.
That's how you ended up with the mayonnaise and cheese.
Which is created by the contrast.
Which is created by the curiosity.
Of contrast.
The curiosity of what's out there to explore.
Okay.
That's not contrast.
Okay.
I guess it could be defined as contrast. You're curious.
Okay.
You want to try all of the different things in the world. And so you're curious. What does it taste like? If you don't know what it tastes like, you don't know if you will enjoy it or not.
Tastes like chicken.
So you go and you order your burger differently so that you can experience the contrast, which sometimes will bring about controversy. I didn't pronounce that one clear. Controversy.
Okay, so let's stay on the same topic then.
Okay.
Because I know there's people that battle with this same thing that I do. I know there is because I've talked, like at our expo, I talked to a couple of ladies that I did aura readings on, and they were struggling between the difference of controversy and contrast. So like if we're staying on the same topic with the burger joint, so I misunderstood your first analogy, because if I went to the burger joint and I liked the burger with mayonnaise and lettuce, and I went to the counter and ordered a burger with mayonnaise and lettuce, and they sent me a burger with mustard and tomatoes, I would consider that a controversy.
I see. So if you ordered the burger the same way, but you got something different, therein lies the question of why did I get something different?
Yes. So that's how I would identify controversy. If it's something that I didn't want or mean to do, why is it there?
Well, the first thing you have to do is you've got to go back to the universal laws. We always, 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 always create our own reality.
Okay.
For education, growth, and development.
Agreed.
So even if you consciously did not order the burger in the way that you got it, subconsciously or spiritually, you got the burger the way that you got it because you put that in place somewhere along the way.
Contractually or with beliefs or what? Can you help identify that? Why would I do that?
For the experience of the difference.
But
even if you're consciously not willing to come out of your comfort box, but it is beneficial, and in your spirit form, when you were creating your play, so to speak, you say to your group who are going to help you create this play experience, if I get to a place humanly where I am not willing to come out of my comfort zone, I still want to experience these things, and it is appreciated if you all will help me achieve that, even if I'm in a hard-headed place of not wanting to come out of that comfort zone box. Because as humans, we get into a zone of comfort, and the unknown becomes more painful than the place that we're at that we may not like or that we may like, and we get comfortable. So if we want to experience more things in a spiritual kind of agreement, putting together our story, sometimes we will nudge ourselves subconsciously out of that place of comfort and pull in experiences with the help of the higher self to have those. They're still, even if you see them as, golly, why did this happen to me? I didn't order my burger that way, but I got it served to me incorrectly and wrong. If you're perceiving that as a negative thing, then it'll be experienced as a negative thing. That dumb waitress didn't put in my order right, or the cook got it wrong or whatever, instead of saying, okay, you know what? Somewhere along the way, I'm supposed to have this burger this way. And lo and behold, I take a bite of it and it's pretty stinking good. And I like it this way. Or it tastes like crap and I don't want any more of that. But you wanted to experience the diversity of the world around you.
So you're saying that controversy is the higher self's gateway drug to contrast?
No.
No?
The higher self will help orchestrate things. Yes. But it's your spiritual self, that your human self, or one of those two aspects that wants to experience that.
Okay. So a part of this that I don't get it is if we are awakened beings that understand the difference between contrast and non-contrast, and then we have a situation where it's a controversial thing, why do we have to go? I mean, why do we have the negative beliefs behind controversy and drama?
Give me a better example of a real life situation that's going on. I think it's situational. I think
Okay.
what's tripping you up. I don't think this general example is really working to your benefit.
Okay.
Because they're just words. So what's the core trip up? I mean, like if you were in my office and we were doing a coaching session, this is what I would say to you. Give me a real life example, if you can put that on the radio, of what happened to bring this up for you. Like let's get to the core of it.
Okay.
Because a burger is a pretty light thing, and okay, I got the wrong burger, but it's not a life-changing, heavy vibrational experience that's going to like flip my world on its head.
Right. Yeah, I get it. Let's see, how can I word? There's a couple of them in my mind that are now, and one of them you know about. We talked about it yesterday.
Yeah.
That is completely via my surprise, actually, when it was brought to my attention that somebody would actually be attempting to do this kind of stuff. And I have a hard time fathoming the belief that people have that kind of, what's the best way to put it? That kind of mean and hateful motives.
Okay.
And uncaused, humanly uncaused.
Not humanly uncaused. So you're basically wanting to ask the definition and get an answer. Ask the question that's this. What would I have to believe to be true for that to have happened in my experience?
Okay.
What is it that I have to believe to be true in my belief system for that to have popped up in my reality to experience?
Like, because what pops in my mind, and I know our listeners go through this kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They have somebody at work that they don't like. You know, they may be 3 cubicles over. And this person every single day does something to them just out of spite, that are doing something to them daily that may be just a minor thing, but it builds up and makes them feel like they're crazy. And so where in that, I guess, would be, why is it something that when they come in and they go to work and this person may be rearranging their desk or changing out their office chair or whatever it is, but it just builds up to where you have a issue with the scenario, which is controversial in your mind.
Okay. Well, it could be several factors.
Okay.
So we can go through them.
Okay.
If you have a belief in place that you're navigating your reality with, that if things are not like a Sherlock Holmes puzzle, then they're boring. You will subconsciously create suspenseful mysteries with all the components of a mystery movie. And that will be how you have to live your life if you believe that and have said, oh, life is boring. Let me create some mystery or some curiosity within it. Then you'll have situations that pop up that are something you have to always figure out, like a Sherlock Holmes, by collecting evidence and having the experience and going on a private eye investigation. And so it could be that.
See,
so look at that component.
Yeah, I live that way. I mean, I kind of am that way. I like adventure. I like intrigue. I like those kind of mysterious things. But I view that more of a mental adventure than I do real life scenarios.
But the smarter and smarter and the more efficient you get to figuring out the puzzle, the more and more convoluted the puzzle must become in order to entertain you and keep you entertained, because you're always growing and developing and expanding and getting more and more able to easily figure out the puzzle.
I mean, I would agree with that statement, but what I don't understand is where is why is it negative and targeted?
Because you perceive it that way.
Huh?
Because you're perceiving it that it is negative and targeted. You create the illusionary reality that you're living in for the benefit of yourself. Those individuals that are just playing parts and playing roles in your play or in your theatrical illusion are playing their part in it.
Okay.
And so if you are getting more and more intelligent on figuring out the puzzle, you subconsciously have to create a more intricate puzzle in order for you to have an experience of untwining and untwisting the mystery of the experience to keep you entertained.
Okay.
They're not doing anything to you. They're doing it for you for the benefit of your private eye mind who likes figuring out puzzles.
Mental adventures.
So they're actually playing characters for you for that benefit. They're not doing anything to you. There's no such thing as victimhood. We put ourselves in a state of victimhood by perceiving that these individuals are doing things to us.
Okay.
We create literally, and not kidding, every second of every moment of every day, we create our own reality.
Okay.
Even if it's on a subconscious level. And if you're not enjoying it anymore, then you have to go in and you've got to sit down and look at the symbology of what you're experiencing and say, okay, I'm not really enjoying this. So I want to create intrigue and suspense and mystery in a new way and create it differently. It's kind of like on Star Trek when they go into the spaceship room that literally is a adventure hologram. They create a hologram that they want to experience. And the captain was always good about going in there because he liked to ride the horse. And I don't remember what it was called, equestrian competition or something. Mm-hmm. Because he liked to be the...
Oh, you mean
what's the little guy?
They would go in and they would speak to the voice or whatever they wanted to experience. Yeah. Okay, I get it.
Run the equestrian competition.
You lost me for a second.
And he would be on the back of the horse as the rider and jumping the little course, the little hurdles and stuff in the course because he enjoyed having that virtual experience.
Okay.
Our reality is no different than that.
Okay.
And coming to a place of coming into realization that quite literally we are creating a virtual reality every moment of every second of every day for ourselves for the entertainment, learning, growth, development of it. And so every single thing that is happening because we put it there, even if it's a subconscious, put it there, and we did it because we wanted to experience that some way, somehow, either because we literally wanted to experience that, or because we have formulated beliefs along the way that caused the experience to change shape because we have beliefs in the way that limited or mutated the experience into a different experience. Instead of it being pleasant, we have a belief in place that mutated the experience into something that caused us to maintain the truth of the belief, because belief's mechanism is always going to make itself true.
Okay.
Contrast is the noun, basically. Contrast is the thing. Controversy is the experience that comes out of the thing.
Okay.
The action.
So basically, controversy helps us guide our contrast, and our contrast helps set parameters for controversy.
Right. Based on your beliefs, patterns, and programs.
So how would you tell anybody to change their what is perceived as controversy, change those parameters?
Well,
I would much
it would
rather
be
have
situational. You have to take it situation by situation.
Okay.
You have to start with what was the situation, the circumstance that caused this topic to pop up in your mind's awareness, first of all. Once you identify the situation, and again, I'm a big journal, because sometimes when you go digging around in something, there's a lot of information and a lot of components that go into it. And so making notes to keep yourself on track so that you don't get off track of what you were trying to accomplish is helpful. And so taking your journal, writing down the experience that happened that dinged your bell, basically, of, okay, I'm acknowledging that this thing happened, this controversy happened, and I don't necessarily want to experience it in the future. So therefore, I want my contrast to be modified so that it is experienced in a different way.
Okay.
The next thing is to figure out what beliefs, if any, were in place that caused you to see that as an unpleasant controversy rather than a pleasant or intriguing or beneficial controversy. That's a hard word for me to say.
Controversy?
Yeah. And then go through the process. Once you identify the belief, is it a belief that you feel like is beneficial and you want to keep? Or is it a belief that's ready to be reprogrammed and modified to make your reality something different? Or is it a belief that's ready to just be removed altogether and replaced with love and light, or a new belief about the circumstance? It's circumstantial.
Okay.
There's not like a across the board change all controversy so that it looks like this, because there is a positive place for controversy.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give you an example on a collective basis. The controversy of, I don't know, give me a controversial topic.
Politics.
Politics is very controversial. It gives the collective group an opportunity to hear a different group's perspective when they are too close-minded to necessarily hear it on a one-on-one basis. And some of that group that actually hears the message of the other opponent, it will actually be the information that they were seeking along their trail that will have them have an epiphanal moment of clarity along their journey and see that the controversy that's going on is maybe not even necessary. It may bring the collective to the place of, why do we have two sides? Why are we looking at it this way? Sometimes the controversy will allow topics to come up and come into the collective so that we can become more desensitized, such as UFO topic. I mean, that came out of lots of controversy.
Oh, I agree.
And so by having the controversy, it allowed the topic to come out in public, giving light to the topic so that it could be a more comfortable topic to conversate about and explore and get closer to the place of it being just normal part of our lives, so that we can have an experience of extraterrestrial contact or evolution of the technology world or the health world. The they and me, I know that they bring to us information that is incredibly advanced on the technological world and on the medical world. They are here to help teach us how to utilize all of ourselves so that we can bring about time travel, collapsing of the timeline, some of those things that we daydream about, instantaneous healing. We weren't meant to be ill and sick. We were meant to regenerate and be healthy. But our beliefs and stuff get in the way, and that mutates the reality.
And so you're saying that your beliefs can set the parameters on controversy, or you can change them completely.
Yeah.
Now, let's jump on the other side of that with contrast.
Okay.
Contrast is a result of controversy that gives you a mindset of what you don't want in life.
It's not just the result of controversy.
Right. Well, there's other results. But
Contrast is just contrast by itself.
Okay.
Contrast is contrast.
Okay.
You don't know white if you don't know black.
Okay.
You don't know fun if you don't know unfun.
Unfun? Unfun?
What's the opposite of fun?
Not fun?
You don't know pain if you don't know pleasure.
Okay.
That's contrast.
Agreed.
The difference between the opposite ends of spectrums of things.
Now,
the controversy is the actual experience of the contrast.
okay.
The controversy would be like in black and white. You now know what the color white looks like, and you now know what the color black looks like. The controversy, on a very minor level, could be, now I have two to choose from, and oh my gosh, I like them equally the same. What a controversial situation I find myself in on what color to paint my wall. And some people could view that as a very negative, controversial thing, and it could put them in great turmoil.
Yeah.
But in looking at the opposite of the negative controversy and looking at it as a positive would be, oh, wow, look, I have options. I can paint my wall white, I can paint it black, or I can paint it black and white. I'm excited because the controversy has a positive tone about it, and I look forward to my new options. In the experience that you had yesterday, instead of it being a kind of negative, controversial situation, putting a spin on it that looks something like this of, wow, my guidance system from my higher self and my guides is fully intact. And that is a validational point where I know that they have my back, and they will bring to my awareness some way, somehow, no matter how blind or how deaf I am, when it is time for me to know the information,
Okay.
they will make sure that I get it, and they will make sure that I hear it, and they will keep repeating it and keep bringing it into my reality until I can conceptualize it, see it, hear it, taste it, smell it, whatever that is. And boy, howdy, I am so impressed and grateful and thankful that they've got my back. And that could be a way to look at the controversy that came about.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what I did, walking away saying, okay, thanks for showing me that. Now, what am I supposed to do with this? And that is what brought in a lot of my thoughts today. And I caught myself all day trying to check in with all of it. And because there were some things that even you experienced in the middle of this that kind of made you feel a little crazy.
Of course, humanly,
right.
but for me, it was exciting because I
Give you validation.
Right. Well, it gives me an opportunity to know that, okay, this thing that's floated up to the top, this belief or this perspective that I am seeing the world in, now is getting to a place where it is ready to completely release, and I can file that as an experience, file it away, and move on to the next thing.
Okay.
So for me, it was not a negative experience. It was, okay, we're at the end of this. I've experienced it fully and completely. I can now close the book and put it back in the library.
Okay. Where I go with it, and this is one of the things that I'm kind of battling with, is solving the mystery makes me feel good.
Okay.
Kind of.
Okay.
And the kind of part is where I'm at.
So is it that solving the mystery means in your beliefs, patterns, and programs that the fun is over? And it's like, oh no, what am I going to do now? The game is over. What game do I play now?
Well, no, it's almost like it feels like there's more that's not solved yet.
Of course, there's always going to be more that's not solved, because that's how you've created your reality to be. You've created your reality to be a big mystery solving scenario, because that's what keeps you intellectually intrigued and occupied. That's how you've set your world up to be. You like the mystery. You like the secretive, based on the evidence
Conspiracy
and based on
theories.
Right. You've created your reality 100%, even by your own actions. You've created the mystery and the intrigue of the secrecy and trying to find out the secret and gathering all the clues.
I know the secret already.
And so you're going to bring more of that about. And so when you finally have the answer, then that's going to not feel complete, because you have a definition that if you don't have that kind of reality, then what are you going to do? Oh my God, what am I going to do? I have nothing to do with myself. What am I going to do? I'm bored. Oh my God, I can't sit still. What am I going to do?
Oh my God.
It is never ending. And if that's the program that you're running, is that life has to be a mystery in order to keep you entertained, then you are going to always feel like you're not complete, because you're not complete.
So do you think that having that kind of belief system is humanly unhealthy?
I think that it has the potential of keeping someone in a definite negative loop feedback if they're not careful.
Okay. The reason why I'm asking
you
that
constantly will experience trauma, drama, lies, secrecy, hidden, cloaked, sabotage, all of that goes along with figuring out a murder mystery, or figuring out the mystery of the wrongdoings, to be the hero in it, having figured out, like a Sherlock Holmes movie. In order to be the hero in your own story, you've got to have the villain, you've got to have the secrets, you've got to have the lies, you've got to have all of those components to make up a good mystery that you get to unravel and solve for the benefit of your own entertainment. And if you get truly tired of it, and it's a habit that you do, then I think that it could be something that one would do on autopilot subconsciously if they're not careful.
Well, what I did to clarify for the listeners is what you're saying is, just to clarify, controversy is part of contrast, not different from contrast.
Nope. What I'm saying is contrast and controversy are two different things.
Okay. So marry them together then. How do you get through your beliefs?
I can't marry them together. They're two different things.
Okay.
Contrast is how you see the difference between this or that.
Okay.
And out of the difference comes experiences which get defined as controversial.
Okay. That makes more sense.
This experience can be defined as a fun adventure, an intriguing adventure or a controversial adventure?
Because I'm doing something wrong.
Okay.
Because it's not so much the mysteries that I like. I like to figure out why people think the way they think. And so I like to try to figure out why this person did that, and I do that because of my aura reading.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's caused. Now that I'm able to identify emotions and sometimes get the little visions on the historical events or whatever, or what's going, and sometimes present events that they're experiencing.
Mm-hmm.
I think it has caused me now to want to take it to a deeper level, figure out why they think the way they think or do the things that they do that causes their energy to be where it is. And so I think that's kind of where I'm at. And so somewhere in there, I've created these beliefs, for the controversy a little bit wrong, because I don't want to figure out the mystery. I want to figure out the why. I don't want to solve the mystery. I want to figure out why do I get up in the morning and ride my motorcycle versus drive my car? It's that kind of things I like to figure out. It makes sense. Okay, well, I rode my motorcycle because it's warm out, it's cool, it's not a lot of wind, it's going to be sunny and kind of, not too hot, and you know what I mean? And so that's the kind of where I went with it. So somewhere in there, I have not created a good belief system that identifies exactly what I want in my contrast.
Because of the way it makes you feel?
Yeah. I mean, I don't like the circumstantial, happenings. I would like to know why people do what they do, not how they do what they do or what caused it to be the way, or I want to know why they do it, not how they do it. And I think mystery, that's where the controversy in my mind becomes more of a mystery, like a murder mystery plot, because you're trying to figure out the how they did it and when they did it and why they did it, instead of why there's even started it in the first place. That's where I'm at.
But isn't that all just the same thing?
No, not really. For me, it's not.
Okay.
For me, it's not. That's kind of where I go.
Then I need a deeper understanding of what you mean, because you said you want to know the why, the how, the what, but then you say, I don't want to know the how, the why, the when, the what. Because how interesting is it to figure out the how, the when, the why, the what, whenever you're right in the middle of it and can experience some of that firsthand and know the how, the when, the why, the what.
I mean, don't get me wrong. It's fun when you do.
It's a lot easier to have conversations and interactions with people that are right here near to you than to pack your little Sherlock Holmes bag and have to go up to complete strangers and say, why are you doing that?
Right.
So what's being put together by yourself is experiences that will give you the information you're asking for in the least resistant way for you. Because you've talked about before getting in trouble by people because you went up to them and said, are you happy or mad or...
Why is your aura red?
Right. And it wasn't a pleasant experience.
Right.
And so because of that experience, you've formulated some sort of belief or program that's not going to allow you to just roam the world asking and interviewing and investigating and putting together a scientific investigation of people and their aura. Instead, you've put it together to where right here in your own house, you have this mystery to solve where you're interacting firsthand with the person, getting to know them on a deeper level so that you can still get the kind of information you're wanting, but you're not putting yourself in what you perceive to be an uncomfortable situation by going to the mall, for example, and having people react differently.
I did it on a flight one time.
So one way to get a clearer understanding of what you want it to look like may be that in our Merck Center, you run an experiment or a research program where you bring in a group of people, you look at their aura, and then you interview them and ask them, okay, how are you feeling today? I see this in your aura, figuring out and interviewing on a daily basis for 30 days and collecting and documenting that data. Maybe you do it in a experimental, scientific kind of controlled way so that you don't have to have the trauma drama. And you don't have to have the experience of going to the mall and being reamed out because you are behaving in such a way that people don't appreciate.
Yeah, that happened. I did it on a flight one time to a stewardess. It's a flight attendant.
I have no doubt.
I was like, why are you? She's walking down the aisle. Would you like some peanuts? No, but I'm curious.
I'm sorry, what? Would you like some what?
Peanuts.
Oh.
Peanuts.
I see.
I think that's why they quit giving them out, because everybody thought they were saying penis.
Oh.
Would you like some penis? Would you like some penis today?
Now they give out pretzels.
Pretzels, yeah. That's much more clear.
Or the little biscuits.
Yeah. Would you like some biscuits?
Whatever those are. I don't think they call them biscuits.
No,
I think they call them, I don't remember.
But anyway, so I think that gives me a little clearer understanding of that. And so with the contrast and the controversy, they are identified as two different things.
In my bubble, they are.
And I think in mine too. And so I think what gave me some more clarity on it was how I can have just having a better understanding of it. I think that really
always education always gives clarity.
Okay. And so now I know what to work on, because I truly don't want, I mean, don't get me wrong, there are some of me that does humanly that does enjoy the mystery of things. But what I'm doing is trying to set the parameters to where, like you just said, I have the ability to ask questions.
Right. You're trying to set the stage for a different kind of experience, a different kind of play.
Which makes sense.
Which
to me
would mean that you maybe ask for, open up your creative mind, your out of the box, what we like to call out of the box thinking, of how you can set this scenario up in a different way where you don't have to firsthand experience the for lack of a better word, man, it's just the nonsense, the trauma drama, getting wrapped up in living a life where having constant trauma drama feels normal.
Yeah, I don't
that
like
would be the thing I would say to people is to watch out for. When you get tired of the constant trauma drama of your life, look at it to see if you are living in almost kind of like a loop. That was a hard P.
Loop. That was funny.
And look at it that way, the circumstances. You know, if it seems like every time you go out your door, somebody is jamming you up about some negative something, it's because you've got that vibrational frequency running around, and you can live your reality from that place because you've identified that trauma and drama is a normal part of life, and you just have to accept it. You can definitely create your play or your virtual story that way, and you'll continue to get more of that, and you'll find yourself subconsciously wrapped up in the latest gossip around the water hole and
the coffee pot,
whatever they gather around these days in the break room. Every time there's some sort of co-worker nonsense going on, you'll find yourself right there in the middle of it. And when you get to a place where you're tired of that, sit and say, okay, what is the theme that I am putting together subconsciously? And do I want that controversy in my life anymore? And if I don't, then I've got to look at the contrast differently and pick and choose from the contrast a different set of characters, which means sometimes you have to relocate, pick a different job, pick a different group of people to hang out with. Sometimes that's what that means. And for some people, that can feel rather uncomfortable. And then they make a choice to stay where they're at, pain and pleasure, or they make a choice to make those changes because they really want to do a complete 360-degree turnabout in their reality, because sometimes you can't come out of the loop that you're in unless you make a big enough change from second to second. Okay, so let me begin again. Here, remember in some of the podcasts where we said you are a different person in every frame, every second, every millisecond. You're a different person because you've created a whole new reality. Well, and you're bringing along your historical baggage with you. And if you can't get out of that loop where you keep grabbing the same luggage and toting it into the next parallel reality, because each reality looks exactly the same, two things. One, it could be that you're afraid for your current reality to change too much, because that in and of itself can bring about fear. For example, if you make a sudden change that's a big change from one reality to the other, and your keys were laying on the table, and you morph into the next reality and those damn keys are not laying on the table, it puts you in kind of a weird state of panic of, okay, what just happened? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that can be scary rather than interesting or funny. You'll never believe what I did. I went into a reality that was so drastically different than the previous one. Your bathroom bag was no longer under the counter in the bathroom.
Yeah.
And so instead of being excited and intrigued by your ability to do that, it was a wee bit annoying by both of us because we were trying to get ready to go somewhere. This actually happened. I'm telling a story. And we got a little frustrated and a little annoyed at the fact that we had changed realities that were so drastically different. We couldn't find this darn bag, and we were trying to leave to go on a little getaway.
Trip, yeah.
And so we were frustrated about the fact that we couldn't find your bathroom bag, which always lives under the bathroom sink. Yep. And all of a sudden, it was gone. Well, that's because we had moved into a parallel reality that had that difference. We don't normally do that unless we're ready to experience it, because it can be fearful. So we change realities just a little bit at a time so that we don't even know that we're going into a parallel reality, and a little bit of change, because then people start to experience the Mandela effect. That's just changing into a reality that is very, very different than the previous one you were in, to the point where you have the conceptual awareness that you've changed reality.
Okay.
And we do it very gradually so that we don't startle ourselves until we're ready for the startling effect and can look at it as an interesting thing.
Okay.
So the other thing is that you can...
You get number two, because you said one. I just want to make sure.
That's right. Number two is that you can get stuck in doing the same program, which is called habits or patterns. You can get stuck in that. That feels so much like norm that you just keep repeating that and repeating it and repeating it by bringing forth the same history that you had when you were the person before and the second before, and just keep bringing that forth and reliving history, every single reality. And you have to snap yourself out of that. And sometimes the only way to snap yourself out of that is to create a reality that is so much different than the one that you're kind of trapped in. You know, like when we would go and bowl, and you were teaching me in the very beginning, and I got into like this loop of doing the same thing, and I couldn't teach my body to do another throw or a different kind of technique. So you would have me go to the other end of the spectrum and do something completely just way far out there for a couple of throws to snap me out of that loop, and then bring me back to the ground zero to learn that new technique. It's the same thing in the reality. If you find that you are tired of the trauma drama, but you can't figure out why your beliefs are not clearing or why your reality is not changing, it could be that you have defined that and given it a belief that, okay, well, this is just normal. So this is just what I'm destined to live. And so I got to just figure out how to do that. And so sometimes you have to change the group of people you hang around, completely redesign your social network. Sometimes you have to change your job so that you completely have ejected yourself out of that world. Sometimes it's beneficial to get up and move and actually live in a different house or a different town or a whole different state. But you have to decide what that is. Creating a reality that is a big difference so that it snaps you out of that place is sometimes what has to happen. And if you can't do it yourself humanly, then if higher self feels like that is the highest and best path for you, you'll be nudged lovingly in that direction.
Okay. Well, I have a lot to think about.
Maybe you should do some crickets.
Yeah, I do. I have to think about some things.
He's speechless, ladies and gentlemen.
I am. That was a whole lot. And so I think I'm pretty complete. Are you complete?
I am always complete.
Okay. Well, I guess we thank everybody for listening. As you can tell, I've got to go do some checking in with some things. And I appreciate everybody. We love you. Like, follow, and share. And don't forget to
ring the bell.
We appreciate you all. Have an awesome day.
Love you.